Hello! Today is Thursday, April 30th. Whoa, April 30th, 2020. It's basically our Friday because tomorrow is a teacher work day. We have professional development all day. So you don't have any assignments like posted for tomorrow, but if you have things that you haven't turned in yet, I would get those things done tomorrow. But you do have religion due on Monday. You have social studies and science due tomorrow. So those definitely need to get done. So if you've done them previously in the week, then you don't have to do them tomorrow. Or if you're planning on doing them today, you don't need to do them tomorrow. So you can just kind of relax and chill tomorrow. I wish I could say the same for me. Just kidding. I'll be in meetings all day. So if you post questions on Google Classroom tomorrow, it will most likely be delayed in my response because I'll be in a meeting, so I won't be checking Google Classroom. Anyways, I think those are all my announcements that I have for you. Question of the day. Would you rather drink orange juice or apple juice? I love apple juice. I love apple juice. I will drink apple juice anytime, anyway. Same with grape juice. Love it. But orange juice, I like it, but it has to be the no pulp kind. I can't do it with the pulp. Guys, I just can't. Props to you if you can drink it with the pulp, but like it gets in my tea. Like I just can't. No, I can't. I can't do it. It has to be pulp free. And I don't really drink it that much. Only like maybe, I don't really drink orange juice that much. I don't even have apple juice in my fridge right now. I drink sweet tea really, but I would pick apple juice. Okay. Where did my book go? Oh, I found it. Okay. Thought I lost it for a second. It was really just under my notebook. Okay. We're on page 95. Remember, Benny was like, hey, I found this horse bone. And then Joe was like, there were no horses until the white man came. And he's like, where did you find this? Okay, so back to it. Page 95 if you're following along. On the back of the pile, answered Benny. We're digging on the wrong side, I guess. That it's a man's bone, Benny, cried Joe. It's part of a skeleton. Do you know what a skeleton is? Oh, yes, said Benny. All of us have a skeleton inside of us. It's made of bones. That's right, said Henry. Show us exactly where you found the bone. Right here, said Benny, going to the other side of the pile. Let's dig, cried Joe, but be careful. Down, Watch. You're a good dog, but this is no place for you to dig. Oh, children, look. Another bone came in sight. If you don't mind, please let me do the digging, will you? Just sit and watch me. The children sat back and watched Joe as he slowly dug the sand away. Even Benny was excited as he saw 12 small bones side by side in the sand. There ought to be another set just like these, said Joe. There they are, shouted Henry. And look, Joe, look at the arrowhead sticking out. He was shot, cried Joe. Shot with an arrow. This is a skeleton of an Indian. Before long, the whole skeleton lay before the excited children. Well, well, said Joe, sitting back to rest. We can't move the skeleton because we haven't the right tools. It will be safe because nobody knows it is here. Let's cover him up again. Cover him up? shouted Benny. But we just found him, Joe. It's for our museum. I know, Benny, answered Joe. Will you leave him here, just to please me? We can dig some other day in the cave. Aren't you getting hungry now? Yes, I am, said Benny. Let's go home and get some bread and milk. Jessie smiled at Joe. It was so easy to please Benny sometimes. Shall we take the bowl, Joe? She asked. Oh, yes, take all the small things to put in your museum. So the explorers took their collection of clam hooks and Indian things and started home for supper. Let's call this end of the island Indian Point, said Henry, and that is what it was always called after that. Chapter 9. A New Violin. After supper a few days later, the children sat resting in the doorway of the barn. Listen, said Violet suddenly. Since Violet never said anything suddenly, everyone looked at her in surprise and listened. Then they heard the sound of a violin. Excuse me. Who could that be? Asked Violet. Let's find out, said Henry. Watch ran right to Captain Daniel's hut, and the 4 children followed. There sat Joe in the doorway, playing a real violin. He did not stop when he saw the children. They stared at him and watched his fingers fly as he played a very fast piece. When Joe finished, Benny said, I didn't know you had a violin. Oh, please play it again. When did you learn to play? Cried Violet. Could I hold it just a minute? Jessie and Henry were too surprised to speak. This was not at all like Violet. When Joe handed the violin to her, Violet took it and put it under her chin. Play something, said Joe. Oh, I can't play it, said Violet. I just like to hold it a minute under my chin. Do you mind, Joe? No, said Joe. But don't you want me to show you how to play it? Not now, said Violet. You play some more. She gave the violin back as if she had played one all her life. Joe did play some more, first a slow piece, and then a faster one. But Jessie and Henry were not watching Joe. They were watching Violet. She stood without moving all the time Joe was playing. Joe was watching Violet, too. He was sure she could learn to play well, because she seemed to like the violin so much. When the family went back to the barn at last, they were all thinking of Joe's wonderful playing. That night, when Jessie went to sleep, it seemed to her that Joe played such a sad piece that Violet cried. But when Jessie woke up, she knew that it was real crying that she heard, for Violet was crying softly. Jessie got up at once. What's the matter? She asked, falling on her knees beside Violet's bed. Why are you crying? I want to learn to play the violin, said Violet, started crying again. Of course you shall, said Jessie. I know Grandfather will buy you a violin, and Joe can teach you how to play it. It's not that, said Violet. You see, I want to practice, and it's so selfish to go off and practice all by myself when I ought to be helping. Henry came in with a flashlight. Oh, my goodness, cried Jessie. What can I say? You talk to her, Violet, or to her, Henry. I heard most of it, said Henry. She thinks she's selfish to practice when we came down here to have a good time together. Is that it? That's just it, said Jessie. Excuse me. Now, Violet, look here, said Henry. You can't be selfish if you tried. We all want you to learn to play the violin. Most people don't even like to practice, you know. Henry's little talk with Violet made her feel better. Soon they were all talking again, and even laughing a little. Shh, said Jessie. We better be quiet. We don't want to wake Benny. He would certainly howl. Alright, and we will finish this tomorrow. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Bye.